Hey, Friendos, Steve.
And Larson, what are you laughing for?
Oh, that was a good little Matt Chat dance there.
Get the song in your head.
Welcome back to Going in Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here, youtube.com/Stephen Larson. Of course, this is the Matt Chat edition where we take questions from our friendos out there in the Patreon land at patreon.com/Stephen Larson. We got a variety of reward tiers there. Of course, at the $20 mark, not only can you submit your video question or your text question here to Matt Chat, you also get the Going in Raw care package. It includes a comic book, some stickers, all Going in Raw Stephen Larson related, not just some random comic book that we find in the dollar bin at A1 Comics. But it's a very special Going in Raw comic, stickers and a poster and a postcard. So yeah, it's all good stuff.
Yes.
What's that? Is that another? We got a Match Chat question?
You
there?
got a late arriving one, but let's kick it off with who's first? Sorry,
Steven from Geeked Out Nation.
Yes.
You gotta check out. Go to YouTube and then type in Geeked Out Nation. Steven here has his own YouTube channel. He's also a patron. But check out this set of his. It's awesome.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Check it out. Let's see what he has to say.
Hey, what's up, friendos? My name is Steven, and I wanted to make sure that I let you guys know how much it means to me that every single week you guys entertain me for hours on end with your wrestling content, and I want to say thank you for that, and I had to become a Patreon supporter because of it. My question is essentially, SummerSlam is in August, and the Superstar Shakeup is this week. In that time period between the Superstar Shakeup to SummerSlam this summer, which 5 superstars are going to have benefited the most because of what happens during the Shakeup? You guys just give me 5: Raw, SmackDown, NXT, NXT UK, 205 Live, 5 wrestlers between all the brands. Which 5 will have benefited the most between now and SummerSlam? That's all I got. Too sweet, hearty handshake, and I'll talk to you guys later.
Thank you, Steven from Geeked Out Nation.
Thank you, Steven.
So the Shakeup's coming up, Larson.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you think is going to benefit most from the Shakeup?
I don't know. You usually go first, so you tell me that.
Oh, okay, I'll go first. My mouse isn't working. Okay, so
You got that trackpad there. You can use that.
I'm so sad that he did this, but AJ Styles put up a tweet where it says hashtag Superstar Shakeup, and then he wrote too sweet, and there's one picture of him in the club, and there's one picture of him too sweeting Finn Balor. It would be mind-boggling if the WWE, on the verge of losing Gallows and Anderson, didn't pull the trigger on a Bullet Club reunion. It would be mind-boggling if they didn't do that. If we didn't see these 4 guys as a faction, I guarantee you do that, the club will stay. I don't guarantee that. However, I think you've got a pretty good chance if you book them as a Bullet Club. Yeah, it wouldn't even be like a Bullet, because Bullet Club was like really scary and dangerous back then. It would just be who they are, because they're all so naturally charismatic. They would be truly the Good Brothers, and you'd bring Gallows and Anderson up to prominence and relevance, and really it seems to be probably what they want. You know, a good paycheck and some relevance and some, being able to be out there on TV. I think everybody would benefit. All the fans would benefit. AJ would benefit. Finn would benefit. As big as they are now, they'd be even bigger. Put them back together. Everybody has wanted to see this from day one. There.
That's it?
Yeah, that's what I got.
Don't get your hopes up, man. It's probably not going to happen. I don't think it's plugged in, dude.
It's not plugged in.
It's not plugged in, dude.
It's not plugged in.
It's not plugged in. Your mouse, not plugged in.
I love you, dude.
I love you, dude. That mouse here is not plugged in. So anyways, we saw on SmackDown this week, we saw Braun Strowman show up and lay into Samoa Joe a little bit.
Yeah.
Braun could do with a change of scenery.
Yeah.
You saw what position he was in on Raw. Celebrity match guy.
Yeah.
I feel like fresh start, change of scenery. He can rid himself of that, of being celebrity match guy, and get into some real feuds. Feud between him and Samoa Joe could be maybe on par with what his feud with Roman Reigns was, and what it did for him, more importantly. That was a feud that really elevated Braun to top-tier status, and they never really capitalized on it, which is an idiotic move on WWE's part. Also, I know they got a lot accomplished yet in NXT potentially, but man, if Paige arrives next week with Sky Pirates.
Oh
my gosh! Talk about raising the bar.
Whoa, don't get your hopes up. It's gonna be.
I'm not.
It's gonna be
of
Nia
tag
and
team
Tamina.
wrestling. Sky Pirates will do that. I mean, just the little we've seen with them in NXT has been amazing.
Yeah, it'd be pretty great.
And lastly, I'm going to say Daniel Bryan.
Lashley, really?
Lastly.
Lastly.
He just dropped the WB title to Kofi Kingston, of course, at Mania. And I kind of feel like he, too, would benefit. He's been on SmackDown, like, more or less, even before he was general manager. He was going to be kind of the focus of SmackDown before he was made to retire. Send him over to Raw. Let him have a feud with Seth Rollins. Excuse me. I think that'd be fantastic. This Red Bull's really getting to me. Let's go on an episode of Match Chat we got going for ourselves so far today, huh?
I'm about to go grab a Pacifico.
Oh, wow.
I need you to open it for me, though.
Well, I can do my cool little parlor trick.
I'll end up killing it. It'll like break and go everywhere. I'll be bleeding.
Yeah, probably. I want to see you try to do it first.
Okay. We got to put it on video, though.
Of course.
And I want to drink it during
This
Match
is not
Chat.
a good edge
No,
for
I'm going to do it over there.
Yeah. All right, anyways. So those are the names I have in mind.
Okay.
I think those would all be good.
None of them are as good as Bullet Club.
Yeah, talk about not getting your hopes up.
Is the real.
I hope it happens. I'm not getting my hopes up. Next, we got this is a great question.
Well, okay, number one, I want to shout out to Draft House Games.
Yes.
Again, another quality YouTube channel you can find. Just go to YouTube and put in the search Draft House Games. They have been a huge sponsor of Going in Raw for many months now, maybe even going over a year.
Yeah.
They're always sending us a bunch of cool stuff in the mail. They've been a long time high dollar patron for the longest time. I'm so glad they finally decided to send in a Matt Chat. And boy, what a Matt Chat question it is. I know we were rolling on our reaction when we first watched it.
Yeah, maybe we'll just roll that right after we watch this.
Yeah.
So anyways, take it away, Draft House Games.
This is Draft House Games with our first ever Matt Chat question. Steve and Larson, is Joey Ryan really ruining wrestling?
Yes, Stephen Larson. Is Joey Ryan ruining wrestling?
Thank you, Draft House Games, and thank you, Joey Ryan.
Thanks, Joey. We've met Joey before.
We were lucky enough on the during the Virgil Flynn show that concluded the first arc of Friendo Road. I was lucky enough to talk to him for a little bit. We met him. I mean, come on. The guy is absolutely amazing. Even if he didn't make a personal appearance in that video, which, by the way, let's take a look at our reactions.
Yes,
here.
That's a must.
As I talk, you could just,
Yeah, we'll roll. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, exactly.
Totally.
Even if he wasn't in that, we would say the same thing, I think.
Yeah.
No, Joey Ryan from day one has enhanced pro wrestling.
Yes.
Has given so much to pro wrestling. And even if we hadn't met him before, even if I hadn't seen him wrestle at the beginning of his career 20 years ago in LA, back when we lived there, going to those shows with Evald and seeing Joey Ryan, Scott Lost, all those guys who started PWG back in the day.
Yep.
Even if that wasn't the case, even if all I knew from him was the penis plex, I still would say this guy is adding so much to professional wrestling. If you want to get a friend into wrestling, the penis plex is all you need to look at. Because it encapsulates everything that's great about pro wrestling.
Yes.
No, anybody who says otherwise is an idiot.
Yeah, I can't really add much else. You've covered pretty much all the bases.
Sorry.
No, it's fine.
You can add more if you want to.
I mean, like, the answer is no. Joey is not ruining wrestling.
A lot of people...
He's expanding the breadth and width of what professional wrestling could be.
Yeah. A lot of people point at the Young Bucks as, oh, you want to make it without the WWE in pro wrestling? You just look no further than Joey Ryan.
Yeah.
It just proves that hard work, creativity, understanding how to talk to fans, how to treat your audience, all that stuff. Just look at everything he does.
Yes.
And
has been doing for a great number of years.
2 decades now.
Yeah.
It's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, Joey Ryan is the template of making it in this industry without needing to go to a huge company.
Agreed. Absolutely.
So for that reason and many more, he is making wrestling better. Thanks, Draft House Games. Thanks, Joey. Here, we'll watch Xena64's question and bring your Pacifico in here, and I'll see if I can do the thing here. Take it away, Xena64.
Salutations, Friendos. So now that WrestleMania is in the books and Kofi Kingston and Becky Lynch are both champions, what does WWE have to do to make them feel like big champs? Because they both came from the ground up almost, and now that they're champs, How should they be booked to be looked as main event big championship stars? Thank you.
Steve's back. He did it. Thank you, Xena64.
Thank you, Xena64.
See, I taught you a new trick. Since you're drinking beer, I'll go first. Here's the thing.
Jeff used to do that with his teeth, and he used to bug the crap out of me.
Yeah, that seems bad.
Not huge on that.
That's not good.
One day he told me a story where he was on a conference call in his office or whatever. And one of his teeth exploded. It's probably because he was taking these things off with his teeth. Anyway, sorry. Xena64. What was the question?
How should WWE book Becky and Kofi going forward? Here's the thing. With both Becky, more so with Kofi, but with Becky as well, a lot of the story and what got them really popular and hot, had a lot of momentum behind them, was the chase.
Yeah.
And we've seen several times where the babyface, after the chase, wins the title. And it's hard to replicate, continue that level of momentum and emotion that the fans invest in their story because they've got the top prize. So what they really need is odds to overcome.
Yeah.
And in Becky's case, I feel like that's easy. She's a dual champ on both shows. She said she'll take anyone on the locker room, and that's what needs to happen. Everybody needs to be gunning for Becky Lynch. Like, whatever feuds you have on the side, focus on the champ, because here's the thing. She's defending on both shows. That's twice the work for her.
Well, it kind of... Ideally, I agree totally. I think that's how they should do it. I think
it should be separate feud for separate shows and
I think
separate belts.
Lacey Evans attacks her on Raw, and as Becky Lynch is talking about Lacey Evans, you know, Naomi or whoever comes
Mandy
out on
Rose
SmackDown.
comes down and drops her with the knee.
Exactly.
That's how it should be.
That's how it really should be.
That's how it should be. The odds should continually escalate for Becky, and that's how you keep that momentum going.
Yeah.
Because then if everybody is going after her, that's everybody she has to fight off. And as she fights everybody off, that's just more damage she's taking, which means fans are going to sympathize with her even more.
I just get the feeling they're going to play it like it's a unified championship, and that's why Lacey Evans attacked her on both shows. But I agree. I think they should do it the way you just said.
Sorry. And for Kofi, I don't mind the idea of Thebar and Drew going head-to-head with the New Day because Thebar has a lot of history with the New Day. Drew... I've been waiting for him to get into the title picture, and those are pretty massive odds for Kofi to have to deal with because Drew has been booked more or less as a monster ever since he debuted on Main.
Yeah.
However, I think at some point he has to revisit his feud with Randy Orton. I think we've seen moments in the build-up to his title win where he's kind of overcome Orton, but I think it was largely in scenarios like the Gauntlet match, and whatnot. But if there's a prolonged feud, prolonged meaning a couple months maybe, where he eventually overcomes Orton, kind of puts that feud that started back in 2009, 10, whatever it was, a little bit later than that actually, to rest, move on to other things. I think that could be some interesting symmetrical storytelling there. I think that'd be really good.
I'd like them to revisit the Wyatt family with the New Day. Bray Wyatt needs a big feud to come back. Bray Wyatt, bring back Harper into the Wyatt family, and then Puppet.
And Spitting Image Puppet.
I think who wouldn't want to see that?
That sounds
no,
good.
I think I agree with what you said. I think that Kofi, given how they booked his ascendance into main titles, into top title scene, I think you need to focus on that. I think that he's got sort of the New Day, I think, can be... It's funny because there's three of them, and when they started out, they were, heels who had to sort of be their cheating ways. You'd have to overcome them. I think things are just sort of different with Kofi. I think he can be booked as kind of almost a face Daniel Bryan type when he was, just taking on all comers, and he would just be resistant. I think Kofi needs to be booked the same way. Whenever he's got a challenger, okay, New Day, you need to go to the back now. I need to prove this on my own. And I think the fans are totally behind him, and I think they'll continue to be so. I think that we're looking at something that, like, as of like a month ago, when it seemed evident that Kofi was going to be taking on Daniel Bryan at Mania, it almost seemed like, okay, well, they're going to do this Kofi thing, and then they're going to come back to Daniel Bryan. I'm not so sure they're going to do that, given the crowd's reactions to Kofi.
Which I think is one reason I think Daniel Bryan would benefit from a move to Raw.
I agree.
Just completely separate Daniel Bryan from that storyline entirely, move him to the other brand.
I agree.
Let him do
but
something fresh.
I think as long as the crowd is behind Kofi, then he's going to have a pretty decent run with that
I
title.
think so. And it's just all about continuing his momentum.
The-
Keep
the-
the crowd firmly behind him.
The biggest concern that people had during Raw when the title versus title thing was announced was, oh my God, they're not going to do that to Kofi, are they?
Yeah,
People are really concerned about that.
No.
People really want to see that title on Kofi, and I think they're going to keep it on him as long as the crowd is behind him.
Yep. Next, got a question from, two similar questions. First, B-Man, Patrick
B-Man.
Sparks, and also Stephen M. about Money in the Bank.
Money in the bank.
We'll play them back to back.
Hey, friendos, Pat here. All right, Mania week is over. We are into the Superstar Shakeup week. And then after that, there is only 4 weeks until Money in the Bank. So, is it going to be a lackluster build, Money in the Bank? Is it going to be a great build? Who are some of the superstars that you want to see and you think will be in the Money in the Bank match for the men's match for both Raw and SmackDown, and the women's match for, obviously, both Raw and SmackDown? And who would you like to win? But book it. Have fun.
What's up, friendos? Stephen M. here. Quick question. Who should win Money in the Bank, both men's and women's, and how should they cash it in?
Thank you, B-Man and Stephen M.
Thank you both. Obviously, Money in the Bank's next big pay-per-view to come up. So who do we want to see in Money in the Bank? Who do we want to see to win it? Who do we want to see win it? So I know Drew showed up on SmackDown this past week. Might remain to be seen. I mean, he disappeared almost as soon as he was there. I still really like this idea of Drew and Seth Rollins. I still really like it. So I think that's where you stay. You keep Drew and Seth. You keep Drew on Raw, Seth on Raw. I think Drew wins Money in the Bank. He successfully cashes it in that night. We haven't seen that in a little while. And then Seth wins it back at SummerSlam. I think that Universal title, I think we need to get the idea that thing could change hands at any time after being on Brock for so long.
Didn't Alexa cash in the same night last year?
Did that
she
happen last year?
Yeah,
Okay.
on Nia.
Well, we haven't seen it in the men's side since Dean.
Yeah, like 3 years ago.
It was
4 years
3
ago.
years. Yeah. I mean, we had, who was it? Baron? Who won? Braun won it last time. Before that, it was Baron. And those are both,
largely forgettable.
Yeah. Braun announced his cash in for.
Yeah, that was a huge mistake.
Was it Crown Jewel?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, something like that. Anyways, we haven't seen a successful thing, so I think Drew, is in a perfect position. I think Money in the Bank generally works best when it's in the hands of a heel, and I think the idea of Drew successfully cashing it in. I don't know who Seth is going to fight at Money in the Bank, but the idea of Drew cashing it in and then Seth having to claw back and win it back at SummerSlam, I think would be a strong idea. And then I'd like to see Mandy Rose win Money in the Bank. And then at some point, maybe Asuka will win that title and Mandy Rose will cash in on her.
All right.
That's a storyline they should get back to.
Yeah. On the men's side, I'd like to see Drew, AJ, Andrade Almas, Mustafa Ali, Bray Wyatt, man. Hey, man. And Ricochet.
Yeah, that'd be good.
In the men's ladder match, Drew wins.
I think that's probably the best way you can have Drew beating Kofi for it is just cashing in after a brutal title defense.
Yep.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
And then on the women's side, Asuka, Naomi, Ember Moon, Charlotte, Bayley, and Sasha. So I don't know what they're going to do with Boss and Hug going forward now.
What's the latest with Sasha?
I haven't heard anything new.
Her little tweet stuff.
Asuka wins. And if you go with the idea that Becky's dealing with several challengers on two different fronts, and then you got Asuka there with the briefcase with an automatic challenge or automatic title match. Those are some steep odds for the man.
Yeah,
and the steeper the odds for her, I feel like the more the crowd will be behind her. And you don't need the McMahons getting involved in any of that either.
No. The only McMahon I want to see on TV right now is Shane.
Shane, yep.
He's so great. I was actually thinking, I was like, how could we get Shane to win Money in the Bank?
Just be in the match.
That would be awesome. That'd be great. I'm the best in the world. Baked potato face. Oh, man. Liam Jones is back with another Matt Chat question, and his is pretty simple. Let's see what he has to ask.
Hey, Stephen Larson, what is your favorite WrestleMania?
Thank you, Liam Jones. For me, it's WrestleMania 30. I was really invested in the Daniel Bryan storyline. For him to beat Triple H to open the show and to claim the title at the end of the show, beating Orton and Batista, pretty huge. We can argue all we want about whether Taker's streak should have been broken. Nonetheless, it was memorable. I remember sitting in the recliner in your house watching that show and having a bag of salt and pepper kettle chips next to me, and I think an orange Rockstar Recovery.
Yeah. Thinking,
what the hell did I just witness? I never dreamt of a day where The Undertaker would lose at WrestleMania, and here I was.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
So that show's super memorable, has some really good matches in it, and yeah, I think I would consider that probably my favorite.
What are the other matches on that card?
I'm looking it up right now.
Because, yeah, that was a really strong one. Let's see here. Of course, there was Daniel Bryan versus Triple H versus Cesaro versus Big Show.
No,
I'm sorry. That was Cesaro 1.
Oh, Cena versus Wyatt was a really entertaining match. The finish didn't go the way it should have, but the story they were telling during the match was really good.
You had the Shield versus Kane and the New Age Outlaws.
That was a squash match. What I really enjoyed about this one, it was like 3.5 hours long, and there's only 8 matches, 7 matches on the main card.
How long is it?
Like 3. I mean, like every match save, 4 matches are over 20 minutes.
Yeah.
They really let this show breathe.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, that was good. I'm going to go with, historically speaking, WrestleMania 18. We had The Rock versus Hogan on that one. And regardless of what I or anyone else thinks about Hogan now, at the time, I remember that being a very, very special moment. I felt like that was also sort of the first... It was like truly kind of the invasion thing. Like there was a lot of invasion type matches on there. The rosters were mingling a lot more from WCW. I mean, you had DDP versus Christian on that card. You had RVD versus William Regal for the IC title. That was probably a decent match. I don't remember. Edge versus Booker T. Of course, you have Undertaker versus Flair. I remember that was a fucking fun match. Ooh, I shouldn't have cursed. Maybe I should. I don't care. That was a really fun match. Of course, he had, and I know that neither guy was really happy with this match, but you have Stone Cold Steve Austin versus the NWO, versus Scott Hall, and then he has Kevin Nash with him. I'm sorry, but to me that was just really cool.
Yeah.
It was like, man, the NWO, Stone Cold, like those are the two reasons I really got into wrestling was NWO and Stone Cold. So that was really cool. And then to top it all off, I mean, the throwaway match here was for the Undisputed Championship, Triple H versus Chris Jericho. And that's awesome. So you had a lot of cool stuff going on. But I remember being at I always forget the name of that place. What was that place called?
Yankee Doodles.
Yankee Doodles. It was a bar in L.A.
Yep.
And just the atmosphere, a bunch of wrestling fans. Nobody's being a jerk. Nobody's being a dick. The Rock versus Hogan. And everybody in that place was just like, everybody understood how cool it was. So for me, it was a combination of the atmosphere, the card itself, the significance of a lot of that stuff. I'll never forget Arn Anderson rolling in that match and giving a spine buster to Undertaker. That was cool.
Yeah, that was awesome.
So yeah, I'm going to say WrestleMania 18. That was
fair enough. Favorite. Next from the Hall of Famer, Christian. Take it away, Christian.
Hey, Steve. Hey, Larson. This is the Hall of Famer, Christian, here with another Matt Chat question. My question for you guys this week is regarding yours, and everybody's favorite faction, the Undisputed Era. My question about the Undisputed Era is, if you look at the YouTube, the WWE YouTube, there after the Adam Cole Johnny Gargano match, there was a tease of dissension in the Undisputed Era, particularly between Roddy and Cole. My question to you guys is this the right direction, or should Roddy defect? Should they kick Roddy out? The original 3? Where should the Undisputed Era go now that this dissension has been teased? Too sweet, hearty handshake.
Thank you, Christian. I'll go first.
All right.
I'm going to say I think they should use the tension in Undisputed Era as a big swerve to get Roderick Strong in a stronger position to challenge for the North American title, which would lead to them making good on their promise that they will all be draped in gold. I think that'd be fantastic. I think that if Adam Cole seemed to be focusing a bit of his ire at Roderick Strong in particular, I think he was yelling at him saying, what exactly were you doing out there? If you have the Undisputed Era, for example, maybe kick out Roderick Strong, and he goes through this big sort of babyface taking on the Undisputed Era type thing, man on his own, and then it's revealed to be, and then build him up as a singles guy to the point where he challenges Velveteen Dream. Undisputed Era comes out, and you think it's to mess with Roderick Strong. Instead, they swerve Velveteen Dream, leading to Strong getting the title. Maybe later that night or whatever, Adam Cole picks up the NXT title. I don't know. You have everybody with gold. They carry out their goal. I think that would probably be the best way. Everybody wants to see these guys together. So, yeah, should they do it? Yes, but for a big swerve. That's what I think.
All right. As long as there's some motivation or storyline motivation, reasoning for why they keep losing, then I'd be happy with it. If they're just there, kind of with a case of senioritis, waiting for their main roster call-up.
Nobody wants that.
And then in the meantime, just kind of losing without much direction. That's the worst possible scenario for them.
Yeah.
So if they're losing and it's all because they have a story in mind where there's tension between them, ever since Bobby Fish has come back from injury, it seems like the chemistry in Undisputed Era is not the same. And maybe the idea is that Adam Cole is sticking by his original two friends, members of Undisputed Era. I think maybe the reason the chemistry is off is not because Bobby Fish returned from injury, is that Roderick Strong is there now, and he wasn't part of the original team.
Yeah.
And therefore, there's tension. In the end, Roderick Strong gets kicked out. Then you can get a pretty massive babyface push out of that. Just not the swerve at the end. As long as there's a storyline behind why they're losing all the time, I'd be content with that.
Yeah, in the end, though, I don't want them to be apart.
Oh, I really don't either.
Great for like a big old swerve to happen. That'd be awesome. Because you're accomplishing both things. You have Roderick Strong being like way more powerful, and then he's back in the group with title, and they're all draped.
Yeah, that's perfect.
In the end, all I want,
but I don't think
all of them to be draped in gold.
I have a feeling they're not going to be winning any gold in NXT this year. That's what my gut tells me. If they're in NXT for the rest of the year, even.
If they're in NXT for the rest of the year, absolutely they will. I think Adam Cole should be winning that thing soon.
Oh, he probably should have won it last weekend.
Yeah, well, they have no reason for tension anyways. They should have been walking into that room and been like, what the hell was that? You hit that guy with a bus and he'd kick out. Oh, well, that's what happens. Roderick Strong, next time rent an actual bus and we'll see if we can win that thing.
Johnny would kicked out still, though.
I mean, there's only so much you can do with that. There's only so much you could do with that.
You need to drop the proverbial piano on him from a skyscraper.
I mean, Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish.
Last man standing match.
We gave
then
him
he can't
finish.
get up then.
We gave him our finish, Cole. What do you want? Roderick Strong. I don't know. I don't think he gave him his finish. What did he want him to get? Roderick Strong was dealing with the ref. He was doing his job. Adam Cole has nobody to blame except for creative.
Yeah, that's true, but you can't do that. That's breaking kayfabe too much.
That's too much.
Next, we got a question from Christopher Rampersad.
Hello, Stephen Larson. So my question is, after watching WrestleMania, and it was a very long show, what match would have you cut out and replace with?
Thank you, Christopher.
Thank you, Christopher. I was going to go with your answer. You can go ahead first, though.
Samoa Joe versus Ray. I understand the match accomplished probably one goal, making Joe look like an absolute beast, which I'm always in favor for.
And it did it very efficiently.
It did in less than a minute, but the issue is that Ray was hurt. And that's probably really why the match was only a minute long.
Yeah.
And while it was cool seeing Joe squash Rey Mysterio essentially in less than a minute, Ray's injury unfortunately deprived us of what probably would have been a really good match. And I understand at that late point, although they announced the ankle injury earlier on, you can't just, cancel the match. So this is probably the best situation they come up with. That being said, it was probably the least consequential match. You really couldn't take Roman Drew out because they spent a lot of TV time trying to build this match up, and it was Roman's return match at Mania since returning from his leukemia coming back.
Yeah.
You can't really take that match off the card.
No, I know, but...
So, by default, it kind of has to be Joe versus Ray.
Yeah, but here's the thing. If the premise of the question is, Mania was really long, what would you cut? You're just cutting a minute. That ain't going to change the length of the pay-per-view.
No, I mean, the length is what it was. I wasn't really bothered by the length too much.
So no, that's fine. We can switch the conversation up. My only thing about saying Roman Drew, you're right. Storyline, there's no way you can take Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre out of WrestleMania. And what are you going to do? Put Roman in the Battle Royal? No. I mean, maybe...
Unless that's going to main event the show.
Maybe you could have added Roman to the Kurt Angle Baron Corbin thing. Could have done that, maybe. Because Roman and Baron Corbin, they've had their problems. So maybe you could do something there. I don't know. Maybe Drew McIntyre. I don't know. Anyways. This idea I saw a tweet from somebody, some sports writer, I think, who said, I really don't think WrestleMania, it's obvious that they can't pull off a good 7.5 hour show. And this is on the heels of everybody saying how good WrestleMania was. Everybody said this about WrestleMania. Yeah, it was really good, but it was so long. Well, if it wasn't good, if it wasn't good because it was long, then it wasn't good. If it was good, what does it matter how long it was?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, here's another
It was
issue.
a quality show.
Here's another thing, too.
I don't want to spread over 2 days.
Let me ask you this. Do you think anybody could put on a 7.5 hour show and have it be from bell to bell for the entire length of the show excellent?
No.
That is a long wrestling show.
Yeah, it is.
Long.
Yeah.
Wrestle Kingdom's 5+ hours.
Yeah.
And it's generally really, really good.
Yeah.
But that's still 2 hours shorter than WrestleMania was.
Mm-hmm.
I think just put on a show of that length is just such a huge, enormous task.
See, my take is this.
And retaining the audience's attention to the full 7.5 hours is such a huge task. It may be nigh impossible.
Here's what I would do. This is what I would do. Keep WrestleMania 7 hours. Number one, it's only 5 hours. You don't have to watch the kickoff.
Yeah, you don't have to watch the kickoff.
So it's only 5 hours. This is basically Wrestle Kingdom length.
Yeah.
You keep that the length it is. It's once a year. You can sit there once a year and watch the show. You've got every single week. What do you want? You want really great matches? Okay, you get that every week on 205 Live. You get that every week on NXT. You want the best matches? Just watch TakeOver. Don't bother watching anything else.
Yeah.
WrestleMania is all about spectacle. It's 7 hours long or 7.5 hours long if you're going to watch everything. And it's once a year. I think I would probably endeavor to make Rumble, Survivor Series, SummerSlam all like 3.5 hours long, including an hour long.
It should be 5 hours with
total.
Show.
Yeah, right. So you make your big, you do that. All the other ones are 3.5 hours, including an hour long kickoff or something like that.
Yeah, 3.5, 4 hours.
Yeah, 4 hours. That makes sense. So that it makes WrestleMania even more special. The problem is when you get into things like the Rumble being 6 hours long.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you're getting to a problem because it's like, no, WrestleMania should be one long-ass day of wrestling, and it's totally fine because it's once a year. It's an event. I really loved it because there was and yes, we are in a unique position, but I think a lot of our friendos out there joining us for the live stream felt this way also. It's something that we're all doing together. And is it going to be good? Is it going to be lousy? Whatever it is, we're all going to get through it together.
It's a communal event, yes.
It is. It's a communal event. It's like, I mean, I don't know. How long is Burning Man?
It's like a whole weekend.
Yeah. Nobody ever says, oh, I want Burning Man to be 3.5 hours.
But I don't know how long is actually dedicated to the Burning Man ceremony, where the heck they call it.
I have no idea.
I think it's a whole weekend. A bunch of people go out to the middle of the desert.
Yeah.
Do what they do.
Yeah.
And then set a giant thing on fire.
And they're all naked and stuff.
I guess. I don't know.
Whatever happens.
But it's not. It's less about setting that giant thing on fire as opposed to all these people being there in one place in a communal event.
Right, exactly.
Sharing the experience together.
Yeah.
And WrestleMania is the same thing.
So I don't want it spread over 2. Then I got to commit myself to 2 days.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that.
Get it out of the way in one day.
One day, a big thing, you prep for it, you get in your comfiest comfies, you find the comfiest chair you can possibly get in.
Good snacks, a couple beers, you're good to go.
Then you're good to go. You just watch it. You want to take a nap, take a nap.
Yeah.
Want to go for a walk real quick? Choose a match.
Yep.
Just not the Joe Ray match because it's going to be gone.
It'd be, or just take a really short walk.
Yeah, around the block.
Yeah, or across your living room.
Yes. Jacksonville's number one has a question. Let's see what he has to say.
Hey there, friendos. This is Jacksonville's number one Matt Chatter, Guion Halili, and I'm back with another Matt Chat question. So, with the reaction Roman Reigns got at Mania, which is kind of meh, and then the reaction he got after Raw went off the air on Monday, where people booed him after Seth Rollins called him out, is WWE making the same mistake again? Could they do something different this time? What can they do different? Let me know your thoughts, and this has been Jacksonville's number one. Peace out, guys.
Thank you, Guion Halili.
Thank you, Guion.
So, Roman Reigns, somebody, I forget who it is, somebody tweeted at me too and said, Oh, no, it was in our YouTube comments for our Mania recap or our Raw after Mania recap. Said, yeah, he was there, and a lot of the crowd was booing Roman Reigns.
Yeah, I saw that too.
They're back to doing it. I think there's a couple things here, man. Number one, he wasn't gone that long. Mm-hmm. He really wasn't. And we all understood the magnitude of what was happening. Mm-hmm. But I guess maybe there would be more of a honeymoon period for him amongst fans. I'm not booing the guy. But amongst fans, look, obviously it was a dire thing that he went through, but nobody was really personally witness to that. All the pictures that it was like, he's gone. He's in this movie. Here he is looking great. And that is not meant as an excuse or anything, but he really wasn't gone that long. It didn't really feel like he was gone all that much, you know? Mm-hmm. And then he was back and he looked great. Mm-hmm. So maybe there's just a perception thing where it's like, it's Roman again, and he's winning with a single spear and a Superman punch, and he's fine. And how long is it going to be until they're doing the same thing that we were booing him for in the first place? I mean, it's not how I personally feel, but I think that's probably maybe what it is.
Maybe.
You know?
I think part of it's probably still just a knee-jerk reaction. Roman appears, fans boo. You know, I guess there was a bit of a honeymoon period when he came back. That apparently, if this last weekend any indication. But, you know, the Mania weekend crowd is a bit of a different crowd than your average Raw or SmackDown.
Are you literally about to say they usually cheer what they boo and they boo what they cheer?
No. But there is a different crowd. It's not your average rank and file Raw or SmackDown audience, you know?
That's true.
So I don't necessarily think they're repeating the same mistakes, because if they were, he would have said, I'm back. Oh, by the way, I want my Universal title back, and even been the main event of WrestleMania 1.
That's true. That is true.
That would have been literally repeating the mistakes. So far, they've played it pretty well with him. They've kept him away. They even had that thing with Seth. He's like, nope, I'm not getting involved in your business. And he said his goal is not necessarily titles now, it's to spread a message, you know, like of positivity, mm-hmm. You know, and being able to overcome obstacles. So he seems like his purpose in WWE now is greater than titles. Mm-hmm. So they've had a segment with Seth that directly addressed kind of the elephant in the room. That was put aside. He said his mission now is not necessarily championships. Mm-hmm. In that sense, they've played it right. So they need to follow through on that. I agree with you. He should not be in any title picture for at least the next 6 to 8 months, mm-hmm. minimum. I think it would help him to move to SmackDown, get away from Raw, because as long as he's there, there's always going to be the idea that, well, things aren't going how Vince wants them to be. He probably just wants that belt on Roman again anyway.
Yeah.
Move him to SmackDown, get him away from all that.
Yeah.
Get him some new creative. Just let him be him.
Yeah, I think one thing that they probably missed the boat on, or they really should have done when he came back, was if he wants to come back and say, hey, you know, character-wise, I want to be closer to Joe, the person, than Roman, the character, that's great. There needs to be some sort of visual aspect to that. You need to get him out of that vest. You need to give him a slight rebrand.
Some Zubaz shorts.
Make him chill Roman, or the Dean shirt. But I think that there should be some, and I don't know. Look, I like how we've rebranded him on Stephen Larson Book Raw.
Yeah.
I do.
It's because we feel
probably not realistic for them to go with the Zubaz.
No, it's not that. But I feel like we found, like any repackage we've done with anybody in We Book or I feel like is we look at the essence of the person or character we're presented with on WWE. Yeah,
sometimes.
In the case of Roman, mentioned this or SmackDown recap. I think I was like, he just seems like a really chill dude.
Yeah,
he was chill Roman.
Yeah.
Even the thing with Drew, he comes out with no clothes on.
Yeah,
because he's such a man.
Yeah, here's maybe what you do. Because I'm trying to think. I'm like, okay, they can't give him Zubaz pants like
no,
we
obviously
did.
not. Obviously not.
What if they did something like this?
Really, what it is, he needs to get rid of the vest. That's really the thing. If he came out in his pants and the boots and just like a cutoff shirt or no shirt, I'd be totally fine with that.
Here's my idea.
You need to lose the vest.
Here's my idea. This is what I would actually do, because he still has like the SWAT pants and the boots. And I think that's getting rid of the vest is sort of halfway. Here's what you do. This is what you do.
But it's gonna be so weird to see him in like trunks or
no.
tights.
This is what you do. This is how you do it. Listen.
He borrows Dean's jeans.
No, I don't want to see him wrestle in jeans either. That's terrible. And I don't want him dressed like a waiter like Baron Corbin. And no singlets. Here's what you do. so he came back and he said, "Hey, I'm back. You know, I'm in remission, y'all. That's great." Maybe instead of immediately putting him into a feud with Drew McIntyre, which just feels like no time has been lost.
Yeah, I know.
Maybe you show us, even though he's already been training, maybe you show us part of his training process. Hey, I'm back, but I've been gone. I've been going through this treatment. I need to get back into fighting shape. And so you show us what it looks like with him doing whatever training it is he's doing, if it's kickboxing, if it's whatever. And in those training montages, he's wearing, similar to like what Brock wears, some MMA type shorts that are kind of looser.
The first 2 weeks he came back, he was wearing a lot of Jordan brand stuff. He had some Jordan brand pants. He was wearing some Jordan 4s, and then he came back, I believe. So have him, just wear, I was going to say the same thing, something like Brock wears.
So I think that look, if he's got like some cool kick pads going, like the Brock shorts, which are kind of like, you know, the mid-thigh MMA type shorts, and then like some, you know, his gloves, and maybe he keeps the gauntlet thing, because that's kind of cool, because you do this stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe he does that. And then he comes out to the ring in like the merch shirt, which is like the sleeveless merch shirt.
Yeah.
Like the tank top merch shirt.
Yeah.
And then he takes that off and let's see the dude's beef, right? That's a visual reimagination of this guy that we now understand as being more him.
Yeah.
As opposed to dun it, bulletproof vest, that stuff. You know, and it's all set up through like 4 mini docs, like 15-minute mini docs that are done by that guy who does the Chronicle stuff, which is amazing. And there you have your rebranded Roman Reigns.
Yeah. How about this?
Bummed out they didn't do that.
Just take the cargo pants, just cut them, make them into shorts.
That's what I do in the summertime.
Yep.
I take all my cool sweatpants. I take all my Walmart sweatpants.
Yeah. I
cut them off at the knees. And then I'm good for the summer.
Yep.
I'm the comfiest
But
person
then you have to go and buy new sweatpants every winter.
This morning. Yeah, they're $6 a pop. So
That's
you
still
can have an
$6.
entire week's worth for $40.
Why don't you just, like, how many pairs of sweats do you go through every winter? Take a guess. How many did you buy? 3, 4?
Yeah, 3.
Okay, how about this? Start every winter, you buy 6. 3 to keep long, 3 to cut the legs off of. And there, you spent half as much money. You get to wear those for multiple years. I'm trying to save you some money, man.
I know we're not ballers here, but I can afford new sweatpants at Walmart. They're $6.
You seem very efficient, Steve.
So anyways, moving on.
Next.
Sorry.
No, you have more to add.
About the sweatpants. It's a quick tangent. This morning, I know I've got jeans on right now, but I put on my gray sweatpants. And for whatever reason, I always go to Lacey's full-length mirror just to see what I'm wearing. So I go over there, I'm like looking at myself. I look at Lacey, I'm like, why am I looking at myself in the mirror? Like, oh yeah, this is the outfit right now.
Did you pose? Did you?
Yeah. I was like, I'm just wearing sweatpants. Do I really want to check what I'm, make sure this ensemble works?
Wow, these are really flattering.
Who's next?
Philly Flexer.
Oh, nice.
Hey guys, Philly Flexer here. My match check question this week is: should WWE bring back brand split pay-per-views? I feel like more roster movement had got built up, more people got built up during that era or whatnot, because when every pay-per-view had came around, you had to have stories, at least 5 stories or whatnot going on at the same time. And I feel like right now, a lot of times with Raw and SmackDown, you get the same 3 stories kind of just recycling every episode or whatnot. And I just feel like we can have a little bit more variety. All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Philly Flexer.
Thank you, Philly Flexer.
No, I think they had the single branded pay-per-views, and your suggestion is probably the most decent compromise. I would think that I would be okay with, but I kind of feel like when they were doing the single branded pay-per-views on a monthly basis, your pay-per-views you were getting were just glorified episodes of that brand particular show.
That is true.
Where the wrestling would be a little bit better, the matches would be a little bit longer, and you wouldn't have as many backstage segments to slow down the pace of the show.
It was too much.
And when they made the move to do dual branded pay-per-views, I thought, great, awesome, because not every story needs to play out on pay-per-view. So I was totally on board with it. Give us really good monthly dual brand pay-per-views, 8 matches, 3 hours or so, really good wrestling, advanced stories. I think that's totally fine. How they've been approaching it for the last, I don't know what year, how long it's been, has worked pretty well.
I think it's worked better than it had been before with the dual brand pay-per-views. I'm sorry, with the split brand pay-per-views.
Yeah.
I would say this. I'd be okay with the idea if the shows were, we'd still only get one pay-per-view a month.
But it'd be bi-monthly.
Yeah, so like Raw would get one every 2 months, SmackDown would get one every 2 months, and then of course you'd have
alternate months, yeah.
The Survivor Series and the Big Four and maybe Money in the Bank would all be dual brand. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess that it could work if they went back to doing it like that. I mean, I think things with the shakeup now, it might feel a little bit different. But yeah, I don't know. I think how they've been doing it has been okay.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the thing that I like about doing it once every 2 months, but then every month you can have a wild card finals.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. You convinced me there.
You could have a special episode of SmackDown, a special beefier episode of Raw, or whatever.
Yeah, wild card finals. It's like
wild card finals.
You didn't say anything else other than wild card finals.
Well, I don't know. Some people haven't been around as long as knowing the wild card finals joke.
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Whenever it was. Less than that.
Yeah.
Next, Cult of False Realities.
Hello, Stephen Larson. Cult of False Realities here. Back with another Matt Chat question. As you can see, got a new look now. And my question actually has to do with alter egos. Who has the best alter ego in wrestling? And you guys kind of dropped the ball last week with my Matt Chat question, so Larson, you do inside WWE. Steve, outside WWE. Too sweet, hearty handshake.
Thank you, Cult of False Reality.
Thank you very much. Apparently, we dropped the bollock last week. I'm not sure I'm going to do much better this week.
Yeah, same.
But I'll go first.
All right.
I think the best all-time outside WWE alter ego has been Abyss, because he also had Joe Park, who was a really comedic lawyer, and he was actually really good. What
Not
what's wrong
Itchweed?
with it? Huh?
I gave you a good answer before you started. I said Jeff Hardy and Itchweed in TNA.
Well, that's good too, but I'm looking for the best, not just the funniest for bad reasons.
All right.
Yeah, I'm going to say it's
What about
Abyss.
Surfer Sandman and Hardcore
I don't
Sandman?
think that was an alter ego. That was just a gimmick change, dude. And then also say, this is for fun, Suicide.
That's the same gimmick, just different people underneath the mask.
Yeah, it's same character, different people. Okay,
Yeah.
it's a different thing.
Yeah, that's not an alter ego.
Okay.
Alter ego is one person, different aspects of that person's character.
Yeah.
For example,
then it's Abyss and Joe Park.
For example, today it's Finn Balor, Demon Balor. Demon Balor is finally wrestling different than Finn Balor.
Yeah, that's good.
And therefore, I'm getting more on board with it. But the downside of that, he's doing a lot more than he did before. Unnecessary.
Yeah, it's like he forgot how to do Demon.
I think he said that. He does it so irregularly now that every time he puts the paint on, he has to figure out how to do the entrance all over again. All time, though, it's Mick Foley. 3 alter egos, all of them great.
Yeah.
It's Mick Foley.
Oh, yeah.
Mick Foley is the best alter egos.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that 100%. Of course, that's next to Surfer Sandman, regular Sandman.
Yeah, that's just a gimmick change, man.
Loki's up next. He's wandering around some garden somewhere. Let's see what he has to say.
Hello, Stephen Larson. Loki Richard here with another Matt Chat question. We're walking through Inari Temple. I have on my Inari mask, and you couldn't stop me from buying this one. And we have all this beautiful culture here. These shrines, you walk through all of them, and it gives you good luck. All the names here are donations to help to keep the temple active. And all this culture and beauty. My Matt Chat question for you this week is, what's the ugliest looking title? Have fun with the debate. We'll see you soon.
Thank you, Loki.
Thank you, Loki.
Man, how about that Freak Legion dominating?
They are dominating
the fun
Illuminati
Illuminati
right now, yeah.
Over there on Fun Wrestling.
Something
Boy,
else.
Buried the fun Illuminati.
They've all been competitive matches. You can't say buried.
Oh, man.
Not
buried.
at all. Anyways, the ugliest looking title easily for me. I saw it for the first time, actually, when I watched the G1 Supercard, because I don't watch Ring of Honor.
No.
And I'm necessarily going to watch a whole lot more of it. Their 6-man tag titles are just like, what the hell are they thinking? What the hell is that?
Dude, cheap.
They're awful.
I was stunned because I didn't know what they looked like. And then
There's
you're like,
way too much going on. They look
just,
cheap.
Just show a picture of it. I don't know how much you want to edit this, but if you can show a picture of it,
yeah,
that'd be ideal because it's really bad.
Yeah, they're not good
that
looking
should
belts.
Just be our thumbnail.
They're
ugliest title ever.
Yeah, they're horrible looking belts.
I'm gonna go with this. That's a good one because they just look cheap. At least this one. So my answer is actually it's an inspired title design. It is inspired by the old school. It is inspired by old NWA stuff, but it just translated today. It's not, man. It's not good. It's the NWA national title.
Oh, it's the national title?
I think it's called, or is it North American title? I thought it was a national title.
Maybe it's the national title. Continue.
I think Willie Mack still has it.
Oh, yeah, with the United States.
The NWA national, yeah. And it's just this piece of red pleather leather.
The issue is the design of the main plate, which is just looks like a bunch of random clip art put together on metal.
So like that kind of thing. Well, even the strap, how it's placed on there, it's just like slapped on there. Like, given how belt design has evolved so greatly, I understand the desire to do something that's old school, and I appreciate the idea. But like you said, you know, you got this United States plate on there with just a bunch of random clip art thrown on it of guys wrestling and an eagle.
And it's like Cooper font.
And stuff. And then some like weird side plates that are just like stapled on. It just looks cheap. Actually, in practice, it doesn't look terrible. Like when he was actually holding it, it looks kind of okay. But I don't know, man. It's just it's not ideal. It's kind of ugly.
Yeah, it's just not well designed.
I wouldn't want it.
The inspiration behind it's interesting. It's just not that well designed. Whereas the Ring of Honor ones are just ugly.
I feel like there was a cool way you could have done. Like, I honestly think that, especially the national title came not that long after the NXT
North American title, which is beautiful
and has like a similar colored strap, and it's beautiful. And that, I think, is a really good modernization of an old school title. And so when you take both of them, which are kind of, you know, they serve the same function.
They occupy the similar space, yes.
Yeah, it's just one looks really professional and really well done and truly inspired. The other one just looks like they tried to just directly make an old title.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So, anyways. Returning Matt Chatter, Joshua Martinez is back. And he's got a question about introducing wrestling to a special somebody in his life. See what he says.
Hey, Friendos. Joshua Martinez back with another Matt Chat question. It's been a while. School took a lot of my time, but now I'm able to actually have a couple seconds to film something. Anyways, so my question this week is, I want to introduce my girlfriend to wrestling, and there's a Defy show this weekend, and I was wondering if you guys think that would be a great way to introduce her to it, or do you think something along the lines of a big WWE production would be a better way? Let me know what you guys think. Thanks, Friendos.
Thank you, Joshua Martinez.
Thank you, Joshua.
I think we're both on the same page here.
Oh, yeah, go to the indie show. Totally.
Yeah.
Here's the thing about going to a WWE show. Unless you're going to a house show, there's going to be interruptions in your experience. You go to a Raw or a SmackDown taping, you got to sit there and do nothing while they have SmackDown somewhat less so, because they think have the action going on during commercial breaks more than Raw does. You're going to have to sit there doing nothing, watching the talents be kind of awkward standing around the ring while a commercial break happens. And it disturbs the pace of the proceeding quite a bit. If you go to a pay-per-view, it's a little different. If you go to a house show, it's different. And even a house show, though, they break character a bit. It could still feel a bit impersonal, whereas you go to an independent show, it's you, 40 other people. Regardless of where you are, you're pretty much right next to the ring.
They do a lot of goofy stuff in indie shows, too.
Yes.
Like, they rely on comedy a bit more than they do in the WWE.
Well, they rely a lot more on interaction with the audience than they probably do than a WWE show. So if you want to get like the most genuine distilled experience of being at a pro wrestling show, go to the indie show. 100%.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. I don't know if it was her first wrestling show or if we did any other WWE shows before that, but I took Lacey to PWG when you and I went, and she thoroughly enjoyed it. She thought it was great, and it's PWG. It's all like, you're all like crushed in with a bunch of people, but everybody's like super nice. And I don't know, just indie shows in general. And I think Joshua, he's out in Chicago, isn't he? No, where is he?
He's in I think he's in Portland.
He's in the really Pacific Northwest? We just met him in Chicago.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sure Portland probably has a killer.
Yeah,
he was like Defy.
Yeah, he was talking about taking her to a Defy show.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah.
Those look amazing. Those look really great.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would definitely do that. And then yeah, if she's into that, then go with the WWE after that. for sure.
Kind of a similar question from Emilio Rafael. Let's see what Emilio has to say.
Greetings, Steven Larson. I have a question. So I want to get a person to watch wrestling. Like, they're not really into it at first because, you know, they think it's, you know, oh no, it's fake. Fuck it, you know. But I want to get them to watch it. So how do I get them, you know? Elaborate. How to get that person to watch wrestling again. Because, come on, man, it's awesome. Like, Kofi Mania? Who knew, like, since his debut? Okay, never mind. How do I get that person to watch wrestling? Thank you, guys, and happy Sunday.
Thank you, Emilio.
Thank you, Emilio.
Go to the indie show.
Yeah, same answer. Just take them to an indie show. The indie shows are endlessly entertaining.
Because you get these young guys who are just starting out,
or dudes who have been there too long and they look like us,
or
never made it.
Yeah, no, like guys in their 40s and 50s who just do it for the fun.
Mm-hmm.
And it's such a weird mix. And you have like the young guys, like they might be decent in the ring, but they're still working out the character stuff.
Yeah.
So they kind of wow you maybe with some of their athleticism, but like the Celebrate, they're just doing like Tom McGee was in that video, you know? They're still learning the character stuff. But then you get these old guys who make it just barely wrestle anymore, but gosh, their character work is good. Yeah. You know, and it's this weird mishmash, and sometimes things really click, and you get a really good match.
And there's like a random like superstar from 15 years ago.
Yeah, or you know, these days, maybe not as much as it was a couple of years ago, but you'll get, you know, major names coming in for local indie shows, you know, to work a match or two, you know.
You'll get to see a penis plex from our friend
maybe.
Joey, right?
Totally, man.
Yeah. No, those are the best, because like if you're up close and you're watching, like you said, somebody new or somebody who's been around for a really, really long time, you get to see a wider variety of what's going on. Everybody brings in their own styles, their own influences, and it's less dictated by management. And so you just get a better feel for pro wrestling, I feel like. Yeah, so I'm just taking them to an indie show.
Yeah.
Let's see here. We have a couple of text questions. Is that right?
No.
Oh, we've got more video questions?
Yes.
MHPW champion Joe. Oh, yeah, I remember this one. Okay, yeah. He's on a walk here.
Yes.
Let's see what he has to say.
Hey, Stephen Larson, this is MHPW champion Joe with my first ever Match Chat question. Firstly, I'd just like to say thank you for your content. You've got the greatest sense of community within all the YouTubers for wrestlers. I don't know, just, you really seem to have a rapport, and actually I'm proud to be a part of it now. Anyway, Match Chat question. So, Raw and SmackDown after WrestleMania. Things are very different. Things always change. This time next year, who do you think will have all of the respective belts, whether or not they still exist? Women's tag belts, let me know. Who do you think will have which belt? And yeah.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, Joe. Man, I'm out of breath watching that. Is he going uphill, like a super steep hill?
I don't know.
I really appreciate what he said about the positivity in the friend.
Yes.
That's awesome.
It's one thing we try to do.
Yeah. All right.
Run your picks down real quick.
So before I get into this, I looked at my predictions for the end of 2018 going into 2019. Who would have the championships? Like half of them aren't even possible for me.
Yeah.
For me. Yours are actually really good. Mine are terrible. Like Ricochet has the NXT championship. Can't happen. No, can't happen. Matt Riddle has a North American championship. That might actually be the
case. You had Eddie Dennis as the United Kingdom champion.
Don't it? Yeah. Wow. Oh, boy. Anyways.
It'll be fun revisiting those late this year, early next year.
I'm going to need a lot more of these for that episode. All right, Universal Champion. I've got Daniel Bryan. Who do you got, Larson?
I have Roman Reigns.
All right. Wow, they're going to...
After Mania 36, Roman's going to have that belt.
All right. Intercontinental Champion. Oh, no, WWE Championship. I've got Finn Balor.
I have Drew McIntyre.
All right, good. Intercontinental Championship.
Oh, I have Mustafa Ali.
I've got Aleister Black.
U.S. champion.
I've got Mustafa Ali.
I've got Ricochet, but I think this just depends on what show has which mid-card title. You could flip those.
Okay.
So Ricochet is Intercontinental champion, and then Mustafa Ali is U.S. champion.
Women's tag team.
I have Riot Squad.
Oh, that's interesting. That'd be cool. I've got Candice LeRae and Kairi Sane. I think they're going to be that tag team.
All right.
That comes in there. Oh, so Lacey, I texted her. I said, what was your favorite wrestling show you went to? She said PWG.
Yeah.
She said, although she called it PMG, and she said Ronda was there. Because, Ronda Rousey was there.
Yeah, she was there. She was there. The SmackDown Tag Champions. Who do you have, Steve?
I have the Club.
Yeah.
I've got the Club. They're going to reunite Bullet Club.
All right. I got New Day. Raw Tag Champs. I have the Usos. Wouldn't be surprised they move over to Raw in the Superstar Shakeup.
I've got Thebar.
Okay.
They're probably not going to move.
Yeah, who knows? Do we do women's champions already? No, women's champions. Becky, I have holding both those belts still.
Becky.
And then the United Kingdom champion, it's going to be Walter still.
Eddie Dennis.
Get out of here with that. Cruiserweight champion, Humberto Carrillo.
Oh, that's a good answer. I will say Drew Gulak.
And that was my pick in our predictions.
I know,
Drew.
me too. I know. Wait, no, actually, it's not going to be him. Who's it going to be? Who's new? I know you got Humberto. It's a good one. I know. Mike Kanellis.
Oh.
I'm going to go with Mike Kanellis.
I feel like he's going to get it before the end
You're
of the year.
probably right.
Next from Thayer Thabata.
In kayfabe, who's scarier, Minoru Suzuki or The Undertaker? Now, Larson, you get Suzuki, and Steve, you get The Undertaker for obvious reasons.
Thank you, Thayer Thabata. All right, make your case.
Well, here's the thing. It's in kayfabe.
Yeah.
We're talking in kayfabe.
Yeah.
It's The Undertaker. A case can't be made for just a little crazy old man running around versus literally a demon, a dead man from hell who can rain lightning upon thee. There is no case to be made. It's The Undertaker in kayfabe.
Hold on 1 second. So, Minoru Suzuki's record as a reputation as a mixed martial artist can carry into his character kayfabe. And if you look at that, it's undeniable he's one of the greatest, if not the greatest. There you go. That's where I got you beat.
Damn
it. Greatest combat athletes of all time.
Yeah.
Also, probably DDT Pro, some other Japanese wrestling organization. He defeated a robot. And then also, of course, he has defeated giant monsters as well in the movie. What's it called? Kaiju Mondo?
Yeah.
Something Undertaker's never done.
So, on par. Okay.
No, Minoru Suzuki wins. Look at that. He's giving this giant monster a pile driver here.
Yeah. Boy, that's a good.
I don't think the Undertaker's ever defeated any sort of monsters.
You brought that out. I didn't know you were going to bring that out. Dang it. Yeah. Well, still, Undertaker can rain lightning down upon people.
No.
I think it's a wash.
See, and here's another thing about Suzuki in kayfabe. He doesn't need all the lightning and the ambiance to scare people.
No.
He just needs to look at you.
No.
Kick a young lion, you're scared.
Well, if you're a young lion, yeah.
But this really just puts it over the top. He's pile driving a
He
huge.
just beats up on weak people. And
You call that monster weak? Get out of here with that.
Yeah, okay.
Minoru Suzuki wins. He pile drives monsters, giant monsters.
All right, you win. Good one. Rich Nason. But Rich didn't bring along his kid. What's the kid's name? Chase?
Yes.
Where's Chase?
He said Chase would be in other questions.
He's probably at school or something. Probably a good idea. Anyways, he's got a good question about a couple of old timers in the business.
Hello, friendos. It is Rich again with another awesome Matt Chat question this week. No Chase this week, but you'll see him again soon. Let's be honest, first of all. This Raw and SmackDown after Mania were the two biggest piles of turds they've laid after Mania in a long time. I'm just going to put it out there. But bigger question. I've been thinking about this. If you look all around, two guys that have been around for a while, dun, 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 and the Viper. Where you at, Randy? There you are. My question, and this is one that you're going to have to think about. This could be the question that has made Matt Chat. Which one announces their retirement from sports entertainment first? And also keep in mind that Orton's never had a 5-star match. So, which one calls it quits first? And when do you think they do it?
Thank you, Rich.
Thank you, Rich. Oh, man.
It's got to be Randy Orton. Because I feel like Cena, he says WWE will always be his home or something. And I know it doesn't mean full-time schedule. He'll pop in once a year, twice a year or something.
I agree. I think it's Orton. Because Cena, I feel, has an emotional connection with the WWE. I'm not sure Randy Orton has an emotional connection to anything.
No, I feel like Randy does, because otherwise I don't think he'd still be sticking around.
Oh, I think Randy loves money.
He does like money.
A ton of money.
But there's other avenues for him to make money, I'm sure, that would keep him where he'd be on the road far less. He could do acting. He can be like...
He already has the Randy Orton schedule. They literally named the schedule the part-time schedule.
I know, but he's still working 150 days or something like that a year, 125, 150 days a year, as opposed to 200, but regardless.
52 plus 50. He's probably working 100.
Maybe. But he does, I would imagine, has some emotional attachment to WWE, just not to the same degree John Cena does.
Yeah.
And that's why I think he would be more likely to retire. He'd probably get to a point where, because Orton's pushing 40, right? His kids will probably get a certain age where he's like, well, like when his kids start getting involved in athletics of their own, and he's missed a few baseball games and or soccer games or whatever, and decides that that's of more importance to him than going out and wrestling. So I'm sure dude is set for life.
Yeah, well, I think that's why. I think once he's over it, once he is over it physically, he will be over it and he'll be done.
Yeah.
And I see him maybe coming out of retirement for, I don't know if he would do the Undertaker Mania schedule. I don't know if he would do that or not.
I feel like Cena would.
Oh, Cena will definitely. He will come back he'll come back well into his 80s
if they want him. Yeah,
yeah.
I think Orton the exact same.
Orton, maybe once he's done, unless Vince throws a ton of money at him.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if Randy Orton is a big enough draw to be tossed a ton of money to be coming out.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, it seems like Orton would be the first to step aside,
and I think he would do it.
Yep,
permanently.
clean.
It's
yep.
done. It's
yep.
done. And we got one more text question now from the Diddly Doodler. And he says, my question this week, comes from the fish and broccoli monster, Marcus Harrison. His question revolved around it being prom, asking which hypothetical dates WWE superstars would have and why, who they think would be king or queen, and who would they want at their table. So you can go first.
It's prom. Well, the king and queen that's Andrade and Charlotte.
That sounds right. No, I'm going to go with Braun and Alexa. They have an almost high school-esque relationship anyways.
Kind of.
Like, I feel like Almas and Charlotte, you look at their social media, they're smashing, right?
Yeah.
You look at Braun and Alexa, they've got this, they almost kissed thing. It's kind of cute. It's kind of high school-ish.
Yeah.
It's innocent.
All right.
I know high school you can have but I think it's more innocent. And so I feel like Braun and Alexa, they are king and queen. Then, of course, we both agree on this, Aleister Black and Zelina Vega.
Yeah.
It's my short prom date.
Yes.
And then this is the one I'd want to see most. Who's married to Naomi?
Jimmy
Uso, Naomi, and Mandy Rose. They're all going, doing all that stuff there. Out near the bleachers. Ooh, all three of them. Smash City.
And then you have Man Finn and Demon Finn.
Correct.
All right.
So Raw Gate technology at work.
Yeah.
Man Finn, Demon Finn.
Ricochet and Casey Catanzaro.
That's a good one. They're a legit couple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other legit couples we're missing?
Probably. Becky's not with anybody. Ember Moon's not with anybody. Oh, yeah, the Vikings.
Oh, yeah, Sarah Logan and Ray Rowe.
Yeah. They're together. That's a good one.
Oh, Keith Lee and Mia Yim.
Oh, that's a good couple right there. Anybody else? Who else is there? Oh, and then Peyton Royce will bring...
Oh, the guy who went to a different school.
Yeah.
Halfway through the year.
He went to a crappier school.
Yeah, Sean Spears.
Yeah. Ty.
10.
10.
That's it.
That's it.
All
right.
That's the show. Thanks everybody for joining us
no
today.
Here.
No, I checked when we were going after we started.
Well, thank you everybody. We appreciate it. Till next time. Talk to you guys later.
Goodbye.